The bank reconciliation is performed to align your general ledger book balance with the balance in your bank. Differences are accounted for and are attributable to timing differences or errors. Here is an example of a bank reconciliation. The cash per the bank is 5,586. Your general ledger shows 5,055. You have outstanding checks of $1,816. These are checks that you recorded in your general ledger, but they have not cleared the bank yet. You also have a deposit in transit of $750. This is a deposit that you have the cash, but you just haven't taken it to the bank yet. You also have a non-sufficient fund check. This is a check that a customer gave you paying off their account, but when you took it to the bank, it bounced when it went to the customer's account. So the bank returned it to you. You also have $15 interest that the bank credited to your account. You wrote check number 800 for the correct amount of $1,100, but you recorded it in your books as 800. You made a deposit of $5,800, but the bank made an error and they recorded it as $6,000. Let's go through a typical bank reconciliation. I usually start with the book and the bank balances. The book is $5,055 and the bank is $5,586. Outstanding checks are 1,816. Since these haven't cleared the bank yet, we show them as a minus to the bank balance on the reconcilement. The deposit in transit of $750 hasn't gotten to the bank yet. We show that as a plus to the bank balance. The NSF check is cash that you're counting in your 5055, but it's not cash. The bank returned that check to you. So you have to remove it from the book balance. The bank gave you $15 interest, but you don't show it in your book balance. Therefore, you show it on the reconcilement as a plus to your book balance. You wrote a check for $1,100, but recorded it as 800. It should have been 1,100, so you got to subtract 300 more from your book balance. The bank gave you a deposit they recorded of $6,000 when it should have been $5,800. They made an error and gave you $200 extra. In the reconcilement, you show that as a minus number from the bank balance. We add up the totals in the book, and the adjusted balance is $4,320. This now equals the bank. The reconcilement is complete. We are now in balance, except we need to make journal entries for the three items identified on the book side of the reconcilement: the NSF check, the interest earned, and the check error. So let's take a look at our general ledger. Remember, cash was $5,055, and it should be $4,320. We need to make adjusting entries for the NSF check, the expense check that was recorded incorrectly, in the interest. Let's do them one at a time. Here's the non-sufficient fund check. We reinstate it as an accounts receivable, which will be a debit to accounts receivable, and we credit cash for 450 because we don't have that cash. Now you can see accounts receivable has the balance it should be, 450. The second item was the expense check that we recorded incorrectly. Instead of 800, it should have been 1,100. To correct the error, we need to add an additional $300 to expense through a debit and credit cash 300. Now the expense account is correct, 1,100. The third item was the interest revenue, which we had not recorded, but we got to show interest revenue of $15. So this would be a credit to interest revenue for 15 and a debit to cash for 15. Our cash total now is 4,320, which is what it should be. Accounts receivable is 450, the expense is 1,100, and the interest revenue is 15. So now all accounts are properly stated. There they are. That's what they should be.